It is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. This is another offseason edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well. I know you're headed to, what is it, Twins Fest over the next few days, right?
That's right. Twins Fest coming up. Can't wait to see all my people in Minneapolis. Hopefully to spread a little bit of joy out in that city because I think they need it right now. But going to be cold, Chris.
Oh,
Going to be cold.
I looked at the temperature on Friday. The high is going to be -9. That's the high.
I can handle it. I'll just wear this big bear jacket, and just stay inside. That's, what? It's funny. Like, you go to these cold weather places and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, it's going to be so cold. I'm like, we don't live outside.
True.
Like, just from your Uber to where you're going, that's it.
Good point. You might want to grow the beard back just for the weekend. Just say a little toast here.
I got to figure this out. I got to figure out what I'm doing with my look.
Yeah, that's okay. You look great. Congratulations to Carlos Beltran on Drew Jones, as we expected on Tuesday's show. Both were voted into the Hall of Fame. It's awesome. I love seeing the celebratory video of these guys where they get the call and they celebrate with their family or their friends. Awesome moments. It's not about the business of baseball or anything else that has transpired. It's just neat to see, don't you think?
I mean, I want to be part of that crew so bad. Although it looks like they're all bald, so that's the one thing. All those guys, real good baseball players, got a lot of money, having a lot of friends, but I still got my hair. That's one thing I can hang my hat on, I guess. Congratulations. Yeah, we talked about these guys a ton. I talked about Andrew Jones, how I think a lot of center fielders in my generation really looked up to him, obviously as well as Ken Griffey Jr. But I was talking to Jake about this. We have an affinity for center fielders on our show and Talking Baseball. We do our all JM team. We have to have a center fielder on the team. Kenny Lofton needs to be in the freaking Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they blew.
And there was another guy we were talking about that needs to be in the Hall of Fame too. And why can I remember it now? Give me another center fielder that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Was it Jim Edmonds?
We didn't talk about him. It was somebody else. But yeah, we need more center fielders in the Hall of Fame. There's something like 2 center fielders since the 50s that have been voted into the Hall of Fame. That's ridiculous. It's the hardest. It might be the hardest position in all of baseball.
Well, I don't think it's 2 since the 50s because Mickey Mantle, Ken Griffey Jr., Kirby Puckett.
Since Mickey Mantle, I think it's only Ken Griffey Jr. and Kirby Puckett. I believe that's the stat.
I know it's a small group, but you're right. So congrats to those dudes. We'll see them along with Jeff Kent, July in Cooperstown, New York, and that'll be great. It's the reason I'm wearing a Mets cap. Everybody got an alert late on Wednesday. Freddy Peralta has a brand new home. New York's got their ace. They pick up the all-star right-hander from the Milwaukee Brewers for a pair of New York's top prospects, infielder/outfielder, Mr. Do-Everything, Jet Williams, and pitcher Brandon Sproat. New York also gets right-hander Tobias Myers back from the Brewers as well. Peralta, of course, is going into the last year of his contract worth just $8 million. So New York was going to have to give up something good. We heard that the Dodgers were interested. We knew that the Yankees were interested. Several other teams, I'm sure, wanted a piece of Freddy Peralta. Now the Mets get him. Does this make them a legit World Series contender?
Wow. I mean, yeah, I think it puts them in the discussion. I think it puts them in obviously the playoff picture. And we've seen, once if you get hot in the playoffs with the right guys, and we have some of this lineup and the rest of the pitching staff step up, then yeah, you could see them going on a run that could get them the World Series, Chris. I think that's at least my fair assessment of where we're at with this roster. They've had a tremendous week going out and getting Bo Bichette, trading for Luis Robert, now getting Freddy Peralta. Not to mention, Tobias Myers is coming over as well. I feel like no one's even talking about this guy. If you've seen him throw, he's got plenty of potential, in the bullpen. Not to mention, why couldn't he be a starter at some point on this Mets team? So obviously a great addition. I think all Mets fans are now saying, hey, we gave up a lot for this guy, because Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat, that's a pretty big package there. I think the next agenda for old Steve Cohen is finding some way to to lock this guy up long term.
Yeah, and they might be able to do it. I think it's a good move. I really like watching Freddie pitch. Okay, I want to start out by saying that 3 straight years where he is super dependable in terms of making 30 starts, in terms of striking out 200 guys. The thing that I have to be honest here, the thing that drives me a little nuts is that he doesn't work deep into games. He just doesn't. And I hate to bring up the negative, but if you are going to have a guy at the top of your rotation, you want to make sure that you get some length, particularly if you're going to have a rotation which might have some injuries. And there are a bunch of guys that they're going to count on this year that have had some injuries before or haven't proven themselves, like a Noah McLean, who we all think is going to be great. And he was awesome to watch at the back half of last year, back third of last year. But you never know. So if you are going to have a guy at the top of your rotation, I'd like him to pitch into the 6th inning more than twice out of 33 starts.
Yeah, they don't really have an innings eater anywhere in that rotation, and maybe McLean turns into to that. But usually, these guys kind of get pushed along rather slowly at the beginning of their careers. So I agree with you there. They do have 6 guys and plus capable of making starts. So maybe someone ends up being a multi-inning reliever, and that helps throughout the season. Some sort of swing guy there in that pitching rotation. But I agree with you there. I mean, he's not the workhorse, but he's also, we talked about them getting in the dance. When you get in the dance, you need somebody that's able to shut people down, and he can do that. I mean, the strikeout rate uh, month after month last week or last year went up and up and up. He's a guy that can shut down very, very good offenses, and that's exactly what they would need to do if we're talking about some sort of World Series run.
I mean, they needed to change the look of this team. They needed to. I mean, in 2024, they have that huge win over the Brewers, Pete Alonso off of Devin Williams. In fact, the 3 guys who I believe threw a pitch in the 9th inning for the Brewers in that game were Freddy Peralta, Devin Williams, and Tobias Myers. And now they're all Mets, and Pete Alonso is gone. It's just some bizarre stuff. But they needed to change some stuff because you heard throughout the year and certainly at the beginning of the offseason that life was fractured behind closed doors. Well, they have done that. David Stearns has done his best to remake basically at least a third of this roster. It wouldn't surprise me if there's 10 new guys on the opening day roster for 2026. I'm perfectly fine with that. If I were a Mets fan, I would be excited about that. Now that, I like the lineup, and we'll talk about the Robert move, and we'll talk about Bo Bichette, no matter how long or short he is in Queens. But I give him 2 thumbs up, man. I would say it's a borderline A offseason for David Stearns, wouldn't you?
And where it started to where it is now is,
Right.
and we said like, hey, like the offseason's not over, but like, not getting Pete Alonso back in that lineup, that was a really tough thing for them early on. People were really mad at David Stearns for that. Missed out on a few other guys, but now in totality, I'm basically a brand new infield with Polanco, Bichette, Simeon there. You bring in Robert, you bring in the ace of the offseason, essentially, unless Scooble goes. But yeah, this is look, again, big price tag for these guys, but I think it was time for them, like you said, to shake it up and go for it. They desperately needed a guy at the top of this rotation, a guy that's going to take the ball, and they got one in Freddie, man.
Yeah. Mets fans, let us know how you're feeling about this. Obviously, you should be super excited. What are your aspirations? Last year, the second half was a complete cluster F.
I
It
forgot
was
about Edwin
horrible.
Diaz. That was the killer, was Pete and Edwin Diaz. I was trying to think
Right.
about the other guy.
Well, they end up signing 2 guys who spent last year in the Bronx, in Devin Williams and, of course, Weaver. So, um, we'll see how it all works out. It's going to be a ton of fun. Monumental collapse last year, 83 wins. Watch the Reds jump over them last day of the season and take that wild card. Look, they had to make up 13 games on the Phillies. Are we so sure that I talked about World Series contender? Are they even better than the Phillies?
The Phillies rate their off season. C,
Not great,
right? Like maybe I think it has to be a B because they at least brought Schwarber and JT back,
right?
but like a B minus.
B minus. I mean, they lost Ranger Suarez, if that is indeed his name, which we'll get to
Ron
momentarily.
Hell. Hey, here's the subtractions. I got them on the sheet here. This is a lot of people coming and going for the Mets.
Yeah.
Alonso, Edwin Diaz, Tyler Rogers, Helsley. You can mention Cedric Mullins. He was always obviously there for a small amount of time. But Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo,
Mm-hmm.
man, a lot of guys that Mets fans, have grown to love and were household names there, gone. New
I
roster,
hope
new look roster. They needed it.
I hope that if you bought a Mets jersey in recent years, that you had the name Velcroed on and not stitched in. That would be the proper way to do things.
Isn't that what you want though? If you're a fan of a team and yeah, you got guys that you like, but you haven't got the job done. Isn't it kind of feels good,
Yes,
right? If you clear house and bring in a bunch of new players,
totally.
like the hope is back.
Yeah. I mean, why
Optimism
wouldn't
reigns
you?
supreme.
Why would? And by the way, if Freddie is one and gone, okay, you shot your shot, and I'm sure Uncle Stevie will try and figure out another way to do things.
Get try to
Uh,
get Scooble.
I hear he might be available after the offseason. We'll see. Let's talk about this from Milwaukee's standpoint, because this is now the second time in 3 years that the ace of their staff has been traded with 1 year left on his contract. Corbin Burns, of course, shipped from Milwaukee to Baltimore. He was making about twice as much money as Freddy Peralta in the last year of his deal. They ended up getting Joey Ortiz. They ended up getting DL Hall, and they got the 34th pick in the draft, which ended up being Blake Burke, who's off to a solid start as a minor leaguer in their system. Now they end up getting Jet Williams, and they end up getting Brandon Sproat. If you're a Brewers fan, do you understand it, or are you pissed off?
You just trust the process. I mean, this is what's been going on, and you reign supreme. That's the second time I said that in the last 5 minutes. Why am I saying that right now? I don't know. But you got to trust the process, man. This is what the Brewers do. They are talent evaluators to the max. They're player developers to the max. They have guys, they handpick these guys essentially and said, we want them. They fit our system. They fit our model. They're going to come over and they're going to be stars. Jet Williams, athlete, like you mentioned, kind of plays a little bit of everywhere. He can hit. He can steal bases. He kind of does it all. He seems like a Brewers guy to me, a versatile. I actually don't even know about his defensive prowess, but the fact that he can move all around like that tells me he's probably pretty damn good, Chris.
Yeah.
As far as Brandon Sproat, you watch that guy throw, he's got stuff, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Upper 90s with the fastball. He's got the arsenal to complement that as well. How many years of control? 6 years of control for a guy that looks like a big league starter. I mean, this is exactly how the Brewers operate. And again, you just kind of have to trust what they've done. I know the postseasons haven't been there and they haven't kind of gotten over that hump necessarily. But as far as sustained success, I mean, they're a model franchise for it in the
Yeah.
regular season.
This is how they have to do it. They got two of the Mets' top 5 prospects. Jet Williams is a guy I don't know what his best position is defensively, but damn, it would be fun? Jet Williams at short and Bryce Terang at second. Those guys will be able to run all over the place. Jet stole 34 bases a year ago, so he fits the model to a T. And Sproat, look, he made 4 major league starts last year. He wasn't even that great at Syracuse, AAA for the Mets. So you just hope that what made him, I believe, a second-round pick is what they eventually end up seeing here. But this is the way they have to build their business, and it stinks. The other option was play it out. You did have the best record in baseball. You'll get the opening of camp questions about Freddy Peralta and his contract status. Like, do you think that you're going to get an extension? Do you think you're going to get traded? And sure, maybe they didn't want to deal with that throughout the year. But they get to handpick their prospects instead of getting a comp pick for them. So I have no problem with the way the Brewers played it. Kind of sucks that this is the way it goes for teams like this.
This one you can't feel too bad about though, Chris. I mean, they got Freddy Peralta on such a team-friendly deal, and now you're also getting these prospects. I mean, you won this. If you're the Brewers, you won that deal, no doubt.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. How do you say you won the deal? No doubt.
When you sign Freddy Peralta to that contract,
Well, yes, okay, but I'm talking about from this point forward. How
I'm
do you
just talking
know?
about the Freddy Peralta deal.
Oh, okay.
Like
Then
you,
yeah,
you, you
okay,
sign him
yeah.
to that team-friendly contract. You got excellent years out of him, and then at the end of it, it didn't just end, and you got a comp pick. You got a guy that maybe is a major league starter for you for 6 years, plus an absolute a top prospect wild card, if you will.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean they're doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear from the Brewers fans in the comments section about where you are. I mean, when you're being a Clevelander, we're kind of in the same. We're rowing in the same boat here financially. It's teams that have aspirations of winning central divisions and hoping make a bit of a playoff run, but you're going to be severely understaffed when you get to the playoffs. Um, yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's they probably did about as well as they could have done, is my guess. So good for them, I think. Right?
I
I
think
guess.
great for them. Yeah.
Okay. Their rotation, Woodruff came back. He accepted the qualifying offer. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Miz getting a full season now. Hopefully he doesn't have a lot of this. Quinn Priester, Chad Patrick. Look, they're an organization that's made the playoffs in 7 of the last 8 years. I'm sure I will not pick them to make the playoffs yet again. So Brewers, you'll have that going for you because I'm always wrong, but I don't mind sticking with it. I'm here to help you.
I wonder when Tobias Myers got added into that trade, because we heard that um
It was
the
going to be
Jet Williams and Sproat for Peralta was kind of like the deal that was being floated out there. I mean, so
Mhm.
Milwaukee obviously had to add that in to get those guys.
It's a good
Because to
question.
me, you watch Tobias Myers throw, and you're looking at a potentially high leverage arm either way, starting out of the starting rotation or in the bullpen.
Well, his numbers out of the bullpen were fantastic last year. He threw 28 and a third innings, and he only walked three guys. You know how much I love that. Not a huge strikeout guy, but I'll take the rest of it. And yeah, at some point, Tobias Myers is going to get a big out for the Mets, and we're going to go, you remember that part of the deal?
5 years of control. I mean, this is
Yep.
ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Well, the Mets continued their busy offseason. They reeled in Luis Robert to patrol center field. Luis Angel Acuna, right-handed prospect, Truman Pauly. They head to the south side of Chicago. In your opinion, better late than never on the Robert deal, or you're just like, it's okay
On which side?
for the Mets?
I like it for the Mets. I think it's a very kind of low risk, high reward situation for them. I mean, they got rid of Luis Angel Acuna, who really didn't have a spot on that team. I actually like him as a player. He didn't really do well at the big league level, but I think it was partly from he just needs some time, and he wasn't going to get that time at the major league level with the Mets. So I think great for the White Sox. He might turn into something there. Um, but for the on the Mets side, I mean, at the very least, you're getting a top level defensive center fielder in Luis Robert, and then you got a guy, 2 years removed from a monster season. There are some swing path things that you can fix. I went over it on Talking Baseball, things that I think, adjustments that he can make. There's actually a Driveline article that came out talking about these exact same things. I read it after I went and looked at his video, and everything I said kind of lined up with what they said, so that felt good for me.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of what they're banking on. Hey, we're going to get a guy that can go do that in center field. And then we have the potential to run him out seventh, eighth in our lineup. And who knows? Maybe he runs. He's only 27 years old, 28
Right.
years old. Like
Yeah.
the bat speed, Chris, is still there. And you have to have that. You don't have to have it, but it's a pretty good indicator of that. You can still get things done. A few mechanical tweaks, and we could be seeing like Luis Robert, who we like really wanted to turn into a stud.
I have zero problem with what the Mets did here. Zero. But you are so much higher on him than I am.
Okay.
You just are. And I don't know. Maybe it's the change of scenery. Maybe he's the next Andrew Vaughn, right? He gets out of Chicago and all of a sudden he turns into what we fully expected. And that it possibly could be. But I don't want to hear about how fast he swings the bat. I don't give a shit if he keeps missing the baseball. And people will say, well, did you see what he did in the second half of last year? Like, okay, great. Got it. So he's had one good half in the last like 3 halves or whatever it is. Cool. I don't mind the flyer because Uncle Stevie's got enough money to pay for it. And remember, it's not 20 plus the $2 million buyout if they don't pick up his team option. It's double that, right? You have to turn the 20 into 40 because of where they are right now on the tax threshold. Once again, it never bothers me when it doesn't prevent you from doing business. And we know it never will prevent Steve Cohen from going out and getting somebody that he thinks can help the team. But you do just want to make that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the write-off for old Uncle Stevie. I mean, let's go, man. Claim those losses, bad boy. I just think like and Jolly Olive came out and said he doesn't really believe in the change of scenery narrative, and I don't think it always plays. But if you're on the White Sox right now, like you're not going into the season with that like feeling that you're gonna win. And I know that's why a lot of fans are upset with Major League Baseball right now because they feel. I mean, there's a lot of fan bases that feel that way. For a
Mhm.
guy like Luis Robert, there's like his time was just up there, dude. His time was just up. So he
Yep.
needs a new staff. Everyone loved him there. It wasn't like this was bad blood or anything.
No.
So
But I
it's
will
just
say this.
time. It's time for a new set of eyes on this guy, Chris. And they've done
Yeah.
a really good job. The New York Mets have invested a lot of money in their development, and I'm very curious to see if they make the adjustments that I think he should make.
Okay. I will say this, even though he might have been well liked on the South Side, I can only tell you this because I saw him 13-ish times a year. He wasn't always healthy enough to play against my Guardians. But there were several games where he looked like he did not give a crap. And I remember one play in particular where there was a tag up where I think the Guardians had a walk-off, and I don't even think he threw the ball home.
I remember that.
Okay? And I'm not saying that he would have gotten somebody out at the plate, but now let's remember the narrative that came out of New York last year. The first time that nobody's going to make a big deal about that when the White Sox are going 40 and 122. Nobody's going to make a big deal about it. But if it happens in New York and that's the one game that keeps you out of the playoffs like last year, just he's got to clean up a lot of stuff more than just his swing is what I'm saying.
Agreed, and that's unacceptable even if you're on the White Sox. I just think the focus will be better if he's playing for a winning team surrounded by, some studs who are not going to let that fly. Who was going to tell Luis Robert anything in Chicago? How many new managers did they have? Do you know what I mean? Like, there was nobody there that was like, wow, I truly, really respect what this guy has to say. He goes over to the Mets. There's a lot of guys. You better start respecting what they say.
I mean, you
So
hope.
it's just a little bit different. And again, no excuse for that. I just think the focus will be better.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Once again, I think it's a really, really good flyer. And if they get anything close to what he did in 2023, where he had 145 games played, hit 38 bombs and an 857 OPS, then it's a laugher of a deal for them. In the meantime, the Mets also introduced their new free agent signing, Bo Bichette, on Wednesday. Guy who spent his entire career with the Toronto Blue Jays prior to heading to Queens for 3 years and $126 million. Now, there are opt-outs after each of the first 2 years of the deal. John Heyman pointed that out during the press conference.
You have a very favorable opt-out option in there, and you're obviously got youth on your side. I guess you're almost 28, going to be 28. Should anybody look at this as potential one-year deal? How are you looking at this?
John, thanks for your question. Good afternoon, everybody. We had a lot of conversations about the different structure of the deal, and Bo had his choice of long-term deals, shorter-term deals. opt-outs. I think the important thing to know here is he's coming here because he's committed to this team.
Okay, so for those of you that are audio only, Bo Bichette looked like he would rather have had 6 root canals than answer that question from a muzzled John Heyman. And so his agent quickly intercepted it and earned his 3 or 4% or whatever he's getting paid by answering that question, even if he was lying through his teeth.
I think it's at 5% now. Yeah, I mean, I think in his mind, Bo's like, should I tell the truth or should I just be like the company man right now? You know, those are two, because those can be two different things. If Bo's like, yeah, you know, if I go off this year, all bets are off. Like I'm gonna opt out of that baby, restructure this contract. That's the truth, right?
It should be. I mean,
but that's not what you can say in an introductory press conference to a team you just signed a long-term deal with.
Right. But everybody knows.
That's actually a pretty good question by John. I mean, it sucks. It's kind of a crap question, but like it's
not a crap question.
It's a true question. It's a real question. You know, like
when you sign a deal, when you sign a deal and opt-outs are a part of it, you have to be. I mean, nobody should have been surprised that Bo Bichette was going to get that question. Nobody is there to celebrate. Like it's not John Heyman's job to celebrate the signing for the Mets. It's his job to ask. And you know what he could have said? Hey, look, I am signed for 3 years, but I do have the possibility of opting out after the first year. And you know what? Mets fans should be excited if I put up the sort of numbers that can help us win and that maybe I entertain that. Who knows? Maybe I opt out and I sign a 7-year deal here. Hey, what do you think of that, Uncle Stevie? Like, that's what he should have said. Now, I know that Bo Bichette, there's a million other places Bo Bichette would rather have been than in front of a microphone. It's not his thing. He doesn't like he's not a big talker with the media. It's not a thing that he really enjoys. Not that he's far from mean. He's like a nice, sweet, quiet kid, but he doesn't love it. And so that's not how he was going to say it. But I think I would.
His face was hilarious, right?
His face just told it all. Just told it all. And by the way, good for him that he gets opt-outs. He should play this exactly the way Alex Bregman did. Go kick ass. Go have everybody love you and want you back. And then you figure out what's best for you. That's it. It's a big deal.
John Heyman got him right there. That's 1-0 John Heyman.
Yeah. Although Heyman didn't exactly stick the landing on the question.
He didn't nail the presentation. No.
I mean, come on, John. You're a Northwestern grad. Are we going to go back and redo the question here? So I opt-outs 28 what do you think? Come on, Heyman.
Oh man.
He makes me laugh. Every time I see Heyman, and I do have a good relationship with him. He's like a little bit of a human Muppet out there sometimes.
Okay.
He's always looking a little disheveled, like he's never slept, but he's always doing something out there.
So someone pointed out that his Twitter handle, his Twitter picture, I forget who pointed this out. I saw it though. His Twitter picture is like a screenshot of a phone picture of him on TV. It's not like a nice professional shot. Like, can you get it up for us, Dan? It's it's like an Inception picture. Like if it's like the third party he's on TV, someone took a picture of the television.
Oh, that is great.
Perfectly with your.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Nice. There it is. You're right. Oh, Heyman. That is great. That's very funny. Well done, Dan. Good call, Plouffe. That's nice. So we can agree. Do we agree that they're better off roster-wise than they were last year? We didn't necessarily think going into last year. Where are we on this?
Yeah, they are, Chris. I think so.
I think
we read the parts out. I mean, Pete Alonso, that's a tough one. It's a lot of production to replace, man. It's a lot of production to replace.
Yeah, and so's this guy.
Who is it? Oh, Edwin. Yeah. They're different. It's fun. I think there's maybe a higher ceiling, but I think there might be a lower floor too.
Yep. I would say
Right?
it is the biggest if lineup after Bo Bichette right now.
Yeah. I mean, the first 3, nice.
Yeah.
And Polanco will give you good at bats. Like, he's not going to give you bad at bats, but
No.
after that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question marks there.
A lot of question marks.
Yeah.
If Marcus Semien goes back to the form that made him a top 3 MVP, if Brett Beatty can give you whatever and every day.
I like Francisco Alvarez.
I do too. If Luis Robert, if Carson Bench can do stuff at the major league level. A lot of ifs in the back half of that lineup. But it's, you know what it is? Fun. F-U-N. The fun is back in Queens.
I agree.
All right. This episode of Baseball Today, it's sponsored by SeatGeek. Yes, we're in the off season, but still tons of great events. You still have time to get to the AFC title game in Denver and the NFC Championship in Seattle. Anybody here going to that game? Anybody? Yeah, Trevor Plouffe is. Look, you got the NBA, you got the NHL, you got the World Cup coming up this summer to North America. That's why we want to give the sponsor of our video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. More than 35 million downloads has made SeatGeek the #1 rated ticketing app out there. Here's the thing I love about it. Like, if months in advance, you want to go do a vacation and you want to go to a ballpark out there, and you want to buy your tickets in advance, go for it. You can go do that now. If you want to go to an NBA game and you're like, that game is tonight, you can still go to SeatGeek and they're going to help you out. And I'm going to help you out with this code, Baseball 2026. You're going to get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That is 10% off any tickets with the promo code Baseball 2026. So make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. We'll see you at a game in the near future. All right. So we spent a lot of time talking about one team in one of the 5 boroughs. Let's make a stop in the Bronx, where Cody Bellinger is back. After some posturing on both sides and maybe some flirting with some other teams over a 6 or 7 year deal, Bellinger returns to the New York Yankees, 5 for $162.5. That includes a $20 million signing bonus, a no-trade clause, and opt-outs after years 2 and 3 of the deal. How much of a must-sign was this for the New York Yankees?
Like obvious as Kyle Schwarber to the Phillies. Felt very, very similar to that situation. They needed Bellinger back, but I think the difference between those two situations was, I think there was more suitors for Bellinger than maybe for Schwarber, even though we saw some offers go out there for Schwarber, but there were some teams that Bellinger really fit. I mean, the Phillies and the Mets, teams that have been pretty active this offseason, could have used a guy like Bellinger, but all offseason long, this seemed like where he needed to be. And it's funny because every single Yankees fan that I know and follow had the exact same reaction to this. Like, great. Now what's next? I think that's exactly what our guy Jimmy O'Brien said, because I think everyone just expected him to come back, Chris. So, like, great, he's back, but we kind of need to figure what else we're going to do this offseason. And time's running out, and the players are running out as to who's available. But I obviously love it for the Yankees. Love it for Bellinger. I mean, he kind of fits anywhere, but the park is like made for this guy.
Mm-hmm. They would have been screwed without him.
Yeah.
I don't know where they would have gone. I think they would have had to try and make a trade. And those are fine too. I like those more than free agent signings, but this one seemed like it made so much sense from the Yankees standpoint. I would be curious to see just how close he was to signing somewhere else. It makes a ton of sense. And you know what I am most of all? I'm happy for him. Now, Cody Bellinger would have been just fine, but the start he got off to in his career, where he hit, I think, 39 homers out of the gate as a rookie, and then 2 years later hit 47 and won the NL MVP. At that time, we're thinking, man, we're looking at the next $250 million player, no problem. And then he kind of limped to the finish line in LA, It got ugly. One year he had an OPS of 542. He was a negative 1.6 WAR player, I think, in 2021.
That's
negative
crazy.
for a guy who's got that sort of athleticism and can track balls and run on the bases. That's unfathomable. But he, huh?
No,
What do
go
you
ahead.
got?
Go ahead.
No, go.
It was the shoulder injury, right? Like the celebration shoulder thing.
Yeah, with Kike.
The negative WAR in 2021 is insane.
It really is. It really is. So, the fact he rediscovered himself in Chicago in 2023 and then got traded to New York eventually a couple of years later and now gets his big fat deal, good for him. I mean, like I said, he would have been just fine financially without it, but I'm just happy that a guy who was a rocket ship at the beginning and then literally cratered out has worked his way back. I think we can all learn a little bit about that.
Wouldn't you like a $20 million signing bonus right now?
Yeah. I got a 2 and a 0. There's just a decimal point in between those two.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this made too much sense for it to happen. But now you get to kind of the bigger picture. And I guess let's kind of go the direction of a lot of Yankees fans and where their brains are, because let's keep in mind, they tied the Toronto Blue Jays in wins during the regular season, and then they got dusted in the divisional round against them. They just couldn't keep those guys off base. Who has had a better overall offseason between the Jays and the Yankees? It's not close, right?
Not close.
Okay, so are the teams close?
I think it depends on how some of these starters for the Yankees bounce back. Like, are we going to see some of these younger guys kind of step up? I keep hearing about Lombard. I keep hearing about Spencer Jones. Are we going to see some of these guys? Are they going to come be impact players? Because, Chris, you need to have that in a season, like a magical season, which is what the Yankees fans always want. Like, we need somebody to step it up. Does that mean Volpe kind of figures it out of nowhere? I don't know.
Well,
But
he's hurt to start the year.
like, somebody's got to step up, Chris. Like, there are some question marks obviously still here. Like, I think their offense is fine. Look at that. I mean, I don't think people realize how good the Yankees offense was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do. So I think, we really have to focus on can Cole and Rodon come back and be those guys? Like, is that back end of the bullpen good enough with Bednar back there? Can they figure something else out? Like, is there somebody else they can bring in? Like, there's some question marks, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out what should be the next move.
Right.
I don't really have it off the top of my head.
I don't either. They just traded for Weathers, who seems like a perfect swing guy, right? While these guys, Rodon is the first to come back off of the injury. Then it sounds like Garrett Cole, and then it sounds like Clark Schmidt after the All-Star break. So you need a guy who can start for you in the beginning of the year, but then be effective out of the pen, assuming that everybody is healthy and also performing up to standard. So outside of that, are we talking about another arm or two out of the bullpen? Sure, great. But are you going to make any other monumental move? Is there a shortstop to be had? I mean, Caballero is going to be your guy to start out with. You traded for McMahon, who everybody says, well, as long as he just catches the ball over there and plays great defensively, we can live with whatever he does offensively. Okay?
I was going
What do
to
you
say
wanna
something. I'm not going to say it.
Go ahead.
Jazz has kind of been all over the place in the offseason. So, like, we kind of need him to lock it in for the season.
Look, I think that Blue Jays fans and Yankee fans say the same exact thing about the other team. Well, you have too many what ifs.
Ooh, I don't feel that way with the Blue Jays as much as I do with the Yankees. And people are going to call me a Yankees hater, but that's how I feel.
Dude, they just lost Bo Bichette. That's a huge deal. So, do we think that Ernie Clement can continue his meteoric rise? What is Barger going to do now that you have to count on him full time? Is Anthony Santander going to give you anything? Is George Springer, who had a rough start to his Toronto tenure, in the last year of his deal now, is he going to replicate what he gave us in 2025? There are a bunch of questions, which I think are fair.
Okay, that's fine. Definitely questions. There's definitely questions with the Blue Jays, but I maybe I'm just higher on some of these guys.
But there's also questions about the Yankees.
Yeah.
There's a ton of those too. And they're both excellent teams. Both excellent teams. I thought the Blue Jays had a great offseason. I mean, look, do you expect them to do anything else? Because we heard Kyle Tucker. Then we heard, well, okay, they'll bring back Bo. And then we heard, well, Bellinger makes a ton of sense. They didn't get one of those guys. So do they have to go do anything or not?
The Yankees?
No, the Blue Jays.
Not right now.
I don't think so either.
No. I mean, there's a chance, like you said, there are what ifs there. And if these guys struggle at the beginning of the year, then yeah, you could be looking towards, okay, who's available? What kind of trades can we make? But right now, I think they like their in-house options. I think they like their in-house options more than I think the Yankees like their in-house options. Maybe and maybe that's where I'm getting that feeling from. So I talked to a lot of Yankee fans, man. Their vibes are what I portray on this show. Right? Like, do you do the same thing I do? Like I get Dan's vibe. I get Jimmy's vibe. I get Jake's vibe. I get Joe's vibe. Like I get those. I'm like, okay, those are real Yankee fans right there. That's their feeling. Then obviously I put my own big brain to it, but that's the gist that I get.
Yeah, I wonder who will be the first out of those two teams to pull a big deal, because I think the Yankees I don't know enough about Toronto's prospects, to be honest with you. But I know a lot of the guys who probably aren't going to be able to get enough at bats at the major league level, but are major league worthy players that probably other teams would covet at this point. Right?
I don't understand what you just said right there.
There are guys that are on Toronto's roster who are going to be bit players for them and bench players who probably with another team would be closer to everyday players.
I like the Blue Jays depth more than I like the Yankees depth. Yes.
Yes. Major league depth.
Yes.
And what I was saying is that the Yankees farm system could probably go get you a big guy if that's what teams are interested in.
Whose pitching staff do you like more to start the year?
The Blue Jays to start the year. And then I want to see what happens.
Okay. I want to know more about Shane Bieber's injury.
Mm-hmm. We'll find out when the cameras get down to Dunedin.
And I want to see what Cody Ponce does. I need to know a lot of these things. Okay.
Yep. A lot of fun stuff. Yankees and Blue Jays fans, do an honest assessment of your team. Like, where are you after your off seasons? Did you come up short anywhere? And if so, let us know, because we're kind of having a hard time figuring out.
We got a super fan that's a producer right now with a microphone.
I can't.
You can't do it?
No.
That's tough.
Not
Man,
right
I would have let you, bro.
All right. So the Mets, we focused on them earlier. They were reportedly in on Kyle Tucker, but he went a little westward. 4 years, $240 million with the LA Dodgers. That includes an opt-out after the second season. Now, something that came up during his free agency, whether it was fair or unfair, was the notion that maybe he doesn't love the game. Okay? And so during his Wednesday press conference, when he got introduced to the local media, he was asked where those rumors came from.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe a little bit of my demeanor, but I know who I am, and everyone in the clubhouse knows how I go about my day. So that's all that really matters. Just trying to keep it close within the clubhouse and the guys that you kind of work with and grind on a daily basis.
First, quick thing: does it bother you that question didn't bother him more?
That's his demeanor, Chris. I think he answered it the right way. He answered it how he's supposed to answer it. He's like, not a lot bothers me. Not a lot gets me fired up. not a lot of things excite me. Like he just wants to go about his business. I think he answered it in a way that can kind of make you understand why people would think that maybe he doesn't love the game, but that is like his demeanor. People used to call me in the Twins organization, "Oh, you're California cool, you don't care." And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, dude? You don't think I care? And that changed a little bit as I got older and decided like I had to be more of like to take on a leadership role. But I do think, like I said, he answered the question in a way that you're like, oh, all right, that's kind of why those rumors were out there. But I get it. If that's not who you are, that's not who you are, man.
I think he's in a perfect spot.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you were to rank the best Dodgers right now, where does he fall? Like the
Ooh.
most talented players. So obviously Shohei's one. Then who's next?
Shohei 1, maybe Yamamoto 2.
Right? Possibly. Or maybe in terms of importance to the team. Let's do that.
Obviously, there's Mookie. Obviously, there's Freddie.
That's 4.
I think you got to put Blake Snell in there.
5. Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz, yeah,
6.
put him there. Yeah, I mean, Will Smith's pretty damn important.
7.
I know where you're going here. I think he probably fits in right around that 8 to 9 spot.
Okay. That's almost impossible to do for a guy who's going to get paid $60 million.
I think that's where a lot of it comes from too, Chris. And we mentioned this on our show, was when you have a guy that's, going to get the richest free agent contract of the offseason, especially by AAV, you're expecting a guy to come into your clubhouse and just change everything. You're expecting a guy to come in and set the tone and be that guy. It's just not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a ball player, but a guy like I think, yeah, and that's fine. I played with a ton of guys that are like that. Like, hey man, like I'll do my thing, but like I'm not gonna worry about this other guy and like having to kind of like be the leader and coach him up. Like I want to lead by example. I want to go do my thing and that's it. And that's how I'm going to help the team. Is just by being me and going out there and playing on the field. So that's the kind of guy he is. And I think he answered it perfectly. That question right there.
I don't have any problem with the way he did it. By the way, Bob Nightingale of USA Today reported that Tucker's only going to make $1 million in salary and get a $64 million signing bonus, which I guess is good work if you can find it.
This still doesn't mean people are like, oh, that's how the Dodgers are doing it. I'm like, no, it still counts the same on their payroll.
Right. It's the deferral that affects the present day value. It's not the signing bonus.
Yeah, signing bonus, that's still present day money. Yeah.
Okay. Tucker's deal is going to have ramifications league-wide, though. At least that's the report from Evan Drellick of The Athletic, who said that one source told him several owners are, quote, raging in wake of the Dodgers' most recent free agent signing, and that a salary cap will be critical during next year's labor negotiations. Now, you have been very confident that we're not going to get to a work stoppage. When you read something like that, do you kind of step off a little bit and say, man, maybe I got to rethink it?
Well, lockout, I'm almost sure is going to happen, because a lockout just means that they haven't come to an agreement by the time the CBA is up. And that means that like guys can't go to the facilities. When I say I don't think it's going to happen is games being missed. That's what I mean when I say it's not going to happen. And I don't know, like you don't like hearing insiders or guys that are, part of Major League Baseball side saying this. But again, I've been a part of many CBA discussions where like they said that 10, 15 years ago, man. Like they've always wanted a salary cap. Okay. And I think when I put this out on Twitter and people are like not happy with me again, this is why I know it's gonna be very contentious, because it doesn't matter what side you're on now. Fans aren't happy. Like they're not pro player and they're really not pro owner either. They're just like pro themselves, which is exactly where they should be. Love that for you guys. I put out like the difference, the reason the owners now feel like they can talk about the salary cap. And if you notice, Rob Manfred will never say salary cap. He will not say that word. He will not say that phrase and put it together. But the reason they're emboldened to kind of talk about it more and say, yeah, we're going for it, is because fans want it now and fans are asking for it. So like the PR game has worked towards the Major League Baseball side, the owner's side now, because teams are feeling like if we don't get this, my team can't compete. Because it is true. This offseason, I think more than any other that we've seen in recent memory, it's been about 4 teams in on all the free agents, man. It's
That's
been
what it's felt
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, and the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
And
you can throw the
Yankees.
Orioles in there, but that's about it.
It's yeah. I mean, it just feels like every time we talked about a free agent where they're going to go, it was like those teams.
Mhm.
And so, like, if you're a team, like, look, I'm a Twins fan. Did I think we had any chance of signing any of those guys? Of course not. Of course not. You're a Guardians fan. There's no way you thought you were signing any of those guys. But people
Right.
are starting to realize, like, why can't we? We're seeing these other leagues do it. My counter to that is, like, I don't think a salary cap has worked the way you think it's worked in those other leagues as far as like parity. And there's still a lot of ways to get around that cap in the NFL. And you're not keeping your stars in the NBA. They're going wherever they want to go. It's a delicate situation, but I do think, in saying all that, I do think they'll push for it harder than they ever have.
I'm worried. I really am. And I lived through the work stoppage of 94, and it was terribly sad. I still remember the day that Bud Selig went up to the podium and said, "We're not going to have a World Series." And it's like this huge scar that I have as a baseball fan. It was so painful. And I understand why players don't want, like, I get it. Nobody should ever be capped on what they can earn. If somebody thinks that your talent is so amazing, there's no cap on what Taylor Swift can earn, is there? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe there is, but I'm certainly not aware of it. If she's got enough talent and enough people like buying her product, she should be able to earn whatever the hell she can. And the same thing should happen in the baseball world. But there is a huge perception problem. And whether it's because owners in certain cities don't want to pay and are comfortable with getting whatever they do get in the revenue share and not sharing with us as fans what their books actually look like. I've never thought that this is fair, that we just talked about what Kyle Tucker's going to make. We know that. But I don't know what the Dodgers books look like. I don't know what my Guardians books look like, but I do know that we haven't even spent $10 million this offseason. That's a kick in the onions. It's horrible. It is horrible. But I will say this about the caps in other sports, that no, it doesn't always lead to parity. But that's because organizations aren't good enough. Not because, like, my Browns owner has spent more cash over the previous 3 seasons than any owner in the history of the NFL. And it hasn't gotten us anywhere because we haven't done a very good job. Okay? But at least it's not because we can't spend money. My Guardians are the exact opposite.
Yeah. I guess
right?
the counter to that is baseball is a different type of sport where you being able to afford the superstar doesn't guarantee anything, especially in a short series like we have. Like over 162, I think it really does. So maybe that's a problem, but over a short series, I don't think it does.
But here's where I'm really worried. And it's something that I don't have an easy answer to, even though I've been in the business for 30 years, is the TV side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, go look at the percentage of revenue in the NFL that they get from TV money. It's why they play games. That's why last year they had Christmas Day games on Wednesday, because they could sell the shit out of them to Netflix. That's why they're putting their players out there on a Wednesday to go play football. But we don't have that. In fact, we have 9 teams that don't even have TV deals. So I don't know how that part of it is going to get rectified. And that is a major part of the equation when it comes to this collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, and that one's owner versus owner, because the
Yes,
teams
it
that are
is.
spending this money, they own their own networks. They get that money. So why would they give it up? Like, they're going to be asking for a lot in return on that side. They're, okay, you're going to cap our ability to spend. What are you going to do about our TV? There's a lot of things for them to figure out. And again, if I'm Rob Manfred, which I'm not, but if I was, I would understand how, like, the star power we have in the game right now, in the
Great.
momentum that we have in the game right now. And I would tell the owners, it is not the time. It's not the time right now. We can talk about it. We can lay some groundwork. We can get into it. It is not the time to miss
When
games.
is the time going to be? That's
Hopefully fucking never, Chris.
But when
We
are they
should
going to
never
figure
miss
out?
games? It's ridiculous.
When are they going to figure out the TV and streaming side of this?
First of all, why do we wait until the 11th freaking hour to start negotiating with damn CBA?
Because that's where leverage comes in. That's
I'm
with
out on that. I'm out on that because again, it's. I said this on Talking Baseball. Like they have to start thinking this way, in a day and age when how many things are competing for our attention span? A million things, Chris, that are out there, and attention spans are getting less and less. Baseball's had to shorten its games on purpose to try to capture the audience. If you start taking things away and they go away, people aren't coming back. It's not the same as it used to be, man. You ain't flipping the TV on to ESPN and watching Sports Center every night. Nobody does that. Maybe you do, but no young kid. I'm just saying, no offense. No
calling me
young
old?
kid is doing that, dude. They're just not.
Are you calling me old?
Yes. And I'm the same way. I used to watch Sports Center. I used to watch Sports Center so much, I would know what the highlights were going to be because they re-air it.
Right.
Okay? That doesn't happen anymore, man. And once you're out of sight and you're out of mind, you ain't getting back in. It's just that is the way of the world, man. And it's moving faster and faster and faster. So you got to start thinking, what do the fans want? Like it can't just be about let's protect the players and the money and let's protect the some of these owners and figure it all out. And we need a salary cap. It's like, no, dude, you need to figure out together what the fans want, dude. Because I'll tell you what, fans know this too. Even if they get a cap and some salaries come down, does that mean ticket prices are coming down? Has there ever been correlation between what the team spends and how much it costs to go to a game? No.
No, but
they need to start focusing on that, getting people out to the ballparks, because that is coming back into style. In-person experiences are a real thing with this next generation. They do want to go do things. They're sick of being online. You got to get them to the ball games. So that should be your focus.
It's all right. It's going to be interesting.
Man.
It is a lot. Let us know where you sit with that after the Drellick article.
I'm fired up right now.
Yes, you are. Red Sox brought in their $130 million man, Ranger Suarez, on Wednesday, or that's what we thought his name was.
The question was around Venezuela and also how he actually says his name. My name is actually Rangel, but however you guys want to address me, Ranger, is how most people do, so I'm comfortable with either.
Rangel, who knew?
I kind of like that.
I do too.
But Ranger, it could be a nickname. That's like what I figured it sounded like a nickname.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit, and I understand this because, you know, as a kid who grew up in Venezuela, he just wants to come over here and try and live out his dreams. So who's he going to be to correct? It's actually Rangel instead of Ranger. So he went with it. You know, he's a shy guy, quiet, doesn't speak a ton of English. I get it. There was a wide receiver who was actually a very good player he started out his career with the Cleveland Browns. His name was Keenan McCardell. And I think he played like 4 years in Cleveland. And then he got to Jacksonville and he's like, no, it's McCardell. Everybody's like, but we've been calling you Keenan McCardell for 4 years. He's like, yeah, I just didn't want to bother anybody with it. It's like, you're not Trevor Plouffe, are you?
I'm not. I've been called every name in the book, though, for sure. It doesn't bother me at all. But I'd want people to know my freaking name. Yeah, it's more for like your like ancestors. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's not the question I wanted to ask you. Very quickly, does it feel like a 3-team race? We spent a lot of time on the Yankees and Blue Jays. Is it definitely a 3-team race when you're talking Boston?
In the AL East?
Yeah.
You're not including the Orioles in that?
You can.
I'm into it. I'm into the Orioles.
So is it a 4-team race?
Yeah. I like a little bounce back season for the Orioles offense. I'm into it. I can see that happening, man. And maybe you get off to a good start. You get a little aggressive. Ownership's like, all right, let's do this. Let's go make a move here or there. I can see it being a 4-team race.
It's definitely at least a 3-team race. Boston, I love what it's done with its rotation, right? Crochet, Rangel, Gray, Bayo, Oviedo, plus all the youngsters.
Are you going Rangel?
I don't want to because I love the name Ranger so much.
I played with the guy. Everyone called him Ranger. Just Range. What's up, Range?
I respect people whatever they want to be called. So
yeah.
he left it kind of in our.
He's like, I'm so rich now. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Just as long as you spell it right on the direct deposit.
On the check.
That's it. Every 2 weeks, I'm good. You get paid every 2 weeks, right?
I think it depends. When you sign those contracts, I think it can be kind of whatever you want it to be. But typically, you get paid every 2 weeks, yeah.
I'd like to make it more often then. I'd like
it's just less, though.
Wouldn't it be great? I'd like it.
I think it'd be cool to get paid just once a year and just a fat check, dude.
How about this? Alex Cora brings it out to the mound after you're done pitching.
I've told this story before, but when I signed, I got $1.5 million out of high school, man. And you know my backstory. I'm the son of a pool man who was a son of a pool man. Like, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. That's crazy money to me. And so I thought I was like, I'm done. Like, I could live the rest of my life on that. Turns out you can't. At least I couldn't.
Now we're flying to the wild card in Carolina and the divisional round in Chicago and the.
Oh, it's not because of that 1.5. That thing's. You know where that 1.5 is? In my house that I own in Porter Ranch. And I put a lot of it into that. Thank goodness.
Good boy.
But I got 2 checks, man. Well, each for $750,000. I had to pay the taxes on them, which is really strange. Like, you think they just take it out for me? Didn't. 2 checks for that much money, and they came in boxes. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, man. It wasn't like an envelope with a check in it. It's like a box with a check. I don't know. I thought that was cool. At that time, man, can you imagine? 17 years old, about to turn 18, getting that much money? It's crazy.
That's pretty good. Did you hold it and take a picture with it?
Oh my God. I don't even know. I didn't even want to touch it, dude. It's like, this is insane. Yeah, I mean, I lived a very blessed life, Chris. There's no doubt about it.
That's good. You earned it, man. You earned it. All right. This was fun. There was a lot going on here. We love big trades. By the way, I'm going to say it right now. I think the Boston Red Sox pull off the next major trade that we have. I think they're finally going to swing one. They're going to try and go get a big bat. And if you say Jeremy Pena again, I'm going to come after you.
Do you think they saw that? That's an expensive deal, man, for the Mets, I think.
Look, the Red Sox have a lot of good young players.
And they kind of have to trade these guys.
Yeah, they can't all play. And young guys cannot sit on the bench at the major league level. It's just not good.
No.
Not good at all. All right, this was a lot of fun. We're not going to have another show this week unless there's another major thing that shakes loose, and then who knows? In the meantime, travel safely to Minnesota. You should be like Pat McAfee and go sleeveless on Friday outside and take a picture. Let's see how tough you are.
I'm doing arm day tomorrow.
Nice. And then on Sunday, travel safely to Seattle. Enjoy the championship game. We'll be back early next week. Probably. When are you flying back? I don't even know.
I'll be back Sunday night.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So we'll probably do a show on Monday is my guess. That could be some good stuff. All right, everybody have a wonderful weekend. It's been a fun off season for baseball, man. I wish more teams would get in the mix a little bit. Let's start going. Even just some
the Pirates even try to get involved this offseason.
Yeah, they have. They have definitely been like a top 8 interesting team this offseason. Definitely.
Okay.
Top third. Maybe top quarter of the league. All right, for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented and soon-to-be shivering Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you early next week here on Baseball Today.